Good evening, everyone. This is Robert with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. From time to time, we actually talk about real estate. We're going to try that tonight. We're going to be talking about eXp Realty and how it kind of works with Mr. Texas Real Estate, how it's working in general, and we brought in eXp agent extraordinaire, investor extraordinaire, Chris Bounds. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So how long have you been with eXp?
About to hit 2 years.
2 years. Nice. So again, there's 1,000 great things about eXp, but for us, we really boiled it down to the ways you make money, right? And I want to say, freedom's not the right word, but the ease of use, right? The ease of use, that it is all online, that there's no Monday morning 10 o'clock meeting that you're required to go to by your broker and sit there and listen to the same nonsense over and over. But for us, it was really the way you make money, the multiple revenue streams, and the ease of use. So let's just cover a little bit about the ease of use, and then we'll tease it, and we'll get to the bottom of the hour. We'll actually talk about the money where everyone wants to listen. So,
Yeah, when you say ease of use, the funny thing is most agents out there are already doing the eXp model within their other brokerage.
Right.
They're just paying more for it. They're already working out of their car, out of their home office. I mean, pretty much everyone's in the home office now. Pre-pandemic, probably a Starbucks. It's just with eXp, we're cloud-based, and that cloud-based Amazon's type style business model, we don't have all the expenses, so we're able to do more, have a compensation for contribution model, so that agents now building up their brokerage, at least with eXp, they get ownership, and they can build a passive income stream through the revenue share program, and they're able to do that, and we're able to do that so much better, and basically we just have so much more to play with because we're cloud-based. We're not paying for all the redundant expenses of brick and mortar and leases all throughout the country, and staffing all of them. We've got 600 paid employees that every single agent has to tap into. What brokerage out there are you going to join that's going to be able to tell you, hey, we have 600 paid employees that you can jump in and talk to, from broker support, admin, payment, accounting, training, not paid training that you got to pay extra for. Yeah, this is training done by the top agents in the business, not folks that have been out of it for 20 years and they're just training their business now.
Yeah, so we started this, and I've been around real estate going on 12 years now, and you can see there's a clear line between the agents you want to work with and the sort of wish upon a star agents, right? Sort of just stuff falls from the side. Hey, grandma's selling a house. You're an agent, right? Go list the house, right? So there's that 90-10 rule I always use. There's about 90% of the agents do 10% of the business. 10% of the agents do about 90% of the business. And those 10%, maybe even 10 to 15%, treat their careers as if it's a business. And like you had first said, when we first got into it here in Texas, we sat down with a guy named Joe, and Joe's like, we need this software program, we need this CRM program, we need this call follow-up system. And, lo and behold, we're sitting at like $6,000 to $10,000 in software and fees and licensing a year before we even get started. And all of a sudden, I'm like, can this be right? And that's what agents out there who are not with eXp and don't have a system through their brokerage of an integrated software customer from birth to death sort of tracking system, they do. So if you're with, a lot of people are like, I just pay a broker a couple $100. I'm like, yeah, but you're paying a lot more, because if you're serious, you have to have a CRM, you have to have a phone system, you have to have a drip system for your marketing, and more, my God, you certainly have to have a transaction system to track everything. And when they start looking at that, they're like, you're paying a lot more than just $500 for the transaction.
If I went back and ran my transactions through my old brokerage, a flat fee brokerage, my net cost would be higher at this point. But what you described actually is the dilemma for the mom and pop or boutique brokerage. The broker owner of those small brokerages, they have to have all those expenses.
Right.
But the problem is, unless they get to about 100 plus agents, or they're in some unique high
Sure.
$1 amount market.
Malibu, yeah.
So
Get it.
the broker has to work too. They have to sell too, which is essentially the CEO working and competing with their own sales team.
Yeah.
What business does that ever, is that equation ever acceptable?
Right.
But with eXp, they're actually able to leverage our model, all the tools, all the resources we have, break the boundaries and get outside. They're not restricted to any geographical area, and take all the liability, headache, overhead out of the equation, and they can invest more in their agents and training and mentorship and building a team or whatever they want to do.
Yeah, I have a good friend who's a broker in California, and talked to him. And he's like, I don't want to build anymore. I'm almost done. He's like, but for the last 20 years, I've had to go out and find agents, train them, and bring them in. He's like, and then they get their feet wet, they understand, then they leave me, and I got to go find more. It's a constant cycle. And then what I wind up doing is competing with them. It's kind of like the general manager of the dealership walking out on the sales floor and selling cars because he wants the commissions too. And that's a bad model if you're trying to do it your own. These we get into a lot of these brokers. We talk to them. How many guys you got? I got 13 guys underneath me. I got 12 agents and 2 in-house transaction folks. It's like, wow, that's a lot. How much time are you putting in all the training and the overhead? And when we start showing them eXp model, again, just sticking with the ease of use, Chris, as a broker, it makes a whole bunch of sense. Like, I don't know why all these small brokers aren't immediately moving over.
I think the bigger problem is it's an industry issue in that your car example is a good one. If there are guys there that are only closing 10 or 12 cars, not even that, if they're only closing 1 to 2 cars a month, like that, there's no point in having a GM, right? It's not that the brokerage model is wrong. It's that the way the industry works is not right. If your average active agent, closes only 1 to 2 deals a month, you have to have 100 people to support the brokerage. It's not a business model problem. It's actually who's on your team. You really want to get down to it.
Yep.
Because what ends up happening is if you're an agent who can close 4 or 5 deals a month, you just end up starting your own shop anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Or you have your team within a team within a team.
Right.
And you never get profit share.
Right.
You're convinced someday you will.
And expanding on that's the dilemma for the teams. So and I talked with an agent locally who left a team, a very successful team, and they were mad. But with eXp, they don't have to be mad. Like, if you come on my team, and I should be happy that you, under my mentorship, I'm speaking theoretically here, under my mentorship, and you flourished, you're providing more for your family, your goals, your dreams, and then you go off and want to do something even bigger outside of my team, I should be happy. But under the old model, you're not mad. You lose that income forever.
So a lot of people are now getting interested in our circle. They're obviously, the company's been around for almost 11 years now. So we're not the saviors of the company, but people are definitely in our circle are interested to see what we're doing. And
no, we totally doubled the stock.
We doubled the stocks, since we signed up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
Everyone's welcome.
You're welcome. But we looked at it a couple ways. One, again, the ease of use and the training that was there. Trying to put a team under our last brokers together. We tried several times, and it didn't work.
We had a coup thrown at us at one point.
We had 3 iterations of it,
We literally fired all the staff 3 times.
Yes.
And Rob and I one night were just sitting there. I can't remember where you and I were hanging out. And we're like, this is just supposed to be our side thing.
Right.
We're just trying to buy $1 billion in real estate, and I keep having to fire the whole team. It was ridiculous.
And I think because there wasn't an organized structure, even though, again, you have these other brands that are very long and entrenched history, but it runs on the Grand Poobah, right, the broker, and then everyone else, right, the minions. And there's a constant churn in those brokerages. People come in, people leave. When we left, I felt more warmly received than when we got there.
Yeah.
Because everyone understands in this business, people just shift. They shift around. I'm like, why would you do that when you have revenue share? Not different than profit share. You have stock options, right? You have the ability to get to icon status, which is not difficult. When you actually sit down and look at the numbers, Everyone should be an icon.
I think Audra's already there.
Yeah, she's got her 20 more to do, but she's going to cap. Catherine's going to cap, and they'll do 20 more transactions, and they just have to fulfill a role inside our community, which they already do, right? So, to get to there, the ability, and on top of the commission setting, right? Which again, the split is better than most out there. There are some out there. Again, if I could just play a flat fee, I get it. But 80-20 is a pretty darn good split.
I think the other way to describe this too is if you really want to do real estate, I think this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Like there's not I want to be a broker and this whole dream of I don't want to work and sit on the beach and
That's really not our world when it comes to retail. There's not a lot of 997 courses, right?
Well, there's a ton of them out there. There's a bunch of those mentors, and should I start anyways, we don't want to get on that. But trust me, man, there's a guru.
For everything, I know.
Okay, I will go down this track. You and I are not big fans of Robert Kiyosaki.
No.
I think his quadrant's kind of legit. The tax quadrant's kind of good, but everything else he teaches is moronic.
Right.
Then he comes out yesterday, and I see it comes up in my feed. I click on it. I'm chatting with a couple of guys on Facebook, and now he's selling gold, silver, and Bitcoin.
I found the gold a little odd given his track record.
Yeah, he does not have a great investment track record. I'll tell you right now. He's even said in his books, he goes, you know what? As long as you're open and honest with your investors, I've lost a lot of people's money. They're the first ones to jump in on my next investment. And I'm like, all right, close the book. I'm done with this guy. But anyway, so now he's pitching gold, silver, and Bitcoin, right? Because it's the new thing.
Yeah.
You got to have some Bitcoin. I'm like, Bob, what are you talking about? Just go back to. But that's what everybody that's what they call him in person, right? He likes to be called Bob. Bob, go back. What are you doing? Anyway, so. Everybody's always got something to sell, but the dream they always sell is you'll have all these people that work for you, and then you'll build this, empire, and you'll just do it from the beach. And I'm like, yeah, I really like the Gary Keller model better for why should you get into real estate? That is, you work at Gap to get the discount on the jeans, right?
Yes.
You get into real estate to get a discount on investment properties.
Right.
And this is just one of those side things that you can have working at the same time while people are bringing you deals. Doesn't matter where they go as long as they obviously stay within eXp, you get to share in that revenue.
Yeah, for sure. And so for us, and kudos to Chris and Brant for putting together a group that is obviously eXp based, but also investor based. Mm-hmm. So you guys do a lot of training around that. I know you've got your Facebook groups and you've got multiple Zoom and calls a week. Why don't you discuss the investor aspect of what you're working on?
So everyone's going to leverage what expertise they have. Naturally, we have a lot of expertise in the single-family flipping model, and Brant does a lot of mobile home investing and RV parks and private money raising. So that's what we have to offer from our core business. But that being said, we are very heavily experienced in single-family real estate. Just because we were selling our own houses, me personally, my wife and I, 180 or so. Brant's probably double that or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we can leverage that expertise from a sales and marketing standpoint, understanding the value proposition, raising private money, commercial real estate, and we can now do that nationally. One thing to touch on is that eXp's Express Offers platform is a lot of people are scared about the Zillows and the open doors and the offer pads and whatnot. And I just tell agents, I'm like, look, don't be scared. They're here forever. That is just part of the future of real estate. Unfortunately, agents for the longest time have ignored that gap that some clients don't want to put their house on the market. That's why investors thrived. Yeah. But with tech, these tech companies figured it out. Well, eXp came up with Express Offers that is essentially allowing the agent to be at the center of the transaction, helping their client get multiple offers from investors. And of course, eXp agents, it's a great lead flow for deals and for agents wanting to do, earn more commissions.
I need to sign up for that program. It keeps kind of slipping off the radar. There's a process you got to go through, right, over at eXp to be able to be part of that group?
Yes, not anyone's getting in this. You have a minimum of 50 deals closed, no wholesalers, closed transactions. You got to be able to provide financials.
This is how you get into their iBuyer group.
iBuyer.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what you guys call it. That's exactly what it is.
So it's essentially an iBuyer. If you go to Open Door and submit your
what the hell? Why are we in that group?
I don't know. eXp has their own group, and it's like
I just got it.
And there's not very many people who qualify.
I'm sure it's more forms and emails we have to do.
I know,
That's the reason why we're not doing it.
Yeah, we just closed one with them just this week. So.
We're getting. Wow.
Yeah, we can totally do that.
Right down in our hunting ground, right?
We can do it here and the hunting ground.
We want the hunting ground.
Yeah, both markets.
Hey, it's an extra leads income source, right?
We really need to attend Chris's webinars, huh?
Yeah. No, I remember us talking about this a while back, and I was like, maybe we had just done 50.
So there is an iBuyer program. Let me understand this. Inside eXp, and it's only going to be for experienced agents.
No, it's just experienced investors, right? It's not even agents.
Well, so the investors, yes, 50+ deals, and there's a whole vetting process. Not anyone's getting in.
Dude, it's guys like us.
But when you do get in, you're going to be basically on the receiving end of the iBuyer programs, right?
Correct. And those leads that come in from the consumer-facing side, those go to the agents, and the agents now can offer, I mean, they can do the Open Doors, Zillow, and all that too, but now they can put it on the Express Offers platform, get multiple offers back.
That's what it's called, Express Offers.
Those deals go to folks like y'all. You bid, it makes sense for the client.
So we're the buyers in their Express Offer program for eXp. Which
I get it.
How many guys are in the city that are certified as Express Offers for eXp?
I'm not sure.
It's got to be a bunch of
it's a pretty serious training. I actually I just did the certification process myself, and it's pretty detailed, and they're very thorough on who they're going to let in and get this type of lead.
All right.
Now you're getting excited, aren't you?
I'm super excited for our hunting ground down there. We look at the revenue streams and we're just blown away. And then, I hate regret. There's no room for a regret ever in your life. Because if you're happy today, then everything that happened previously made you happy today. Right? So there's no room for regret. However, had we joined eXp when we first started this without going through the journey of firing 3 teams with the other brokerage, we would certainly be in a much better position. And then I started thinking, wow, well, eXp has been around for a decade or more. What if Jason had signed up for eXp 7 years ago with 600 transactions under his belt and all those agents building out their teams? We would have never have met.
Oh, no, there's no way.
You would have been on $1 million in rev share.
Oh, he's
before we even
stock.
met.
That was when stock was a stock.
Yeah, 50 cents a share, and what color Lambo was driving today? It's like that kind of stuff, right? Well, but then it's funny. It's like you go back and you think, I mean, we were so busy so early on. It's like you didn't have a time to. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about this the other day because somebody had posted on one of the Facebook feeds, and they said, "Hey, if you could do it all over again, what would you do?" By the way, that's the best question you could ever ask someone. You could do it all over again. What could you do? And the second best question is, is there a question I'm not asking that I should be?
Yes. 2
best questions you can ask your entire life to anybody about anything. And I would do a couple of things. One is I joined eXp as a realtor.
Yeah.
Even if this is a part-time thing.
In California.
Oh, geez. In California.
Right.
Yeah. What color is my jet today? Am I going to take? Anyway, so I joined eXp, and then I would start a meetup group. And so I keep telling people, I'm like, I'd become a real estate agent, I'd start a meetup group.
We're starting 2 more meetup groups today.
We bought a building to put on meetup groups. If you really think about it, that's really what that building's for,
right? You guys own a building?
Yeah.
That building is the foundation of that is called Meetup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we built that silly thing.
But here's the thing: you can what if that to death, and I'm a little irritated, jokingly, with agents that have been a part of eXp for years and never told me about it. I mean, even Brant took 3 months. But in any case, like 10 years from now, are you going to wish you had 10 rental properties? Probably. What are you doing today about that?
How many guys have you run into networking events that you've given them advice, and then 6 months from now they haven't taken the advice, and they're sitting there and they're like, "Well, we're just wondering. I mean, Chris, it's been crazy how you and your wife have built this company up." And you're like, "You've seen the whole journey, dude. I told you what to do." Like, that's most people, right?
Time and circumstances is everyone. Now, you're talking about the 90% who don't really do much.
That is
right.
Anything.
Yeah.
And conversations that we have with y'all, So we've been talking with y'all for a while.
Yeah.
Time circumstance wasn't there yet. But
Right.
when you were, like, we couldn't even finish the sentence. And Rob was like, all right,
we're done,
like,
guys.
stop talking.
Right, what do we need to do? Let's go.
It was actually
No,
takes us back a little bit.
Brent's like, no, let me just tell you this. No,
Brent's
Brent,
like,
listen, stop talking. I'm in. I don't have any more time. I don't need, you're going to make me, you're unselling me now.
Yeah, now you're making me angry.
Right. So, but I want to say to everyone listening is, if you don't join up to eXp, if you're a real estate agent in our town, right, Houston or Nueces County, and you want to work with us at Club 45, we're going to get into that here in a little bit, you very well could be sitting a year from now or 5 years from now looking back saying, oh, I remember those knuckleheads on the radio, and I should have joined then, and I didn't join, and I stuck with this brokerage that got sold 3 more times over the last 6 years, and now I work for Mark Cuban, right? So it's all, Mark is going to get in the real estate game, he's going to buy a big brokerage, they sell, they trade these things all over the place, and you don't have revenue share, you don't have stocks, and all that other good stuff that comes with eXp. So it is the time right now to get into eXp, especially if you're in our market in Houston, you're fans of Mr. Texas Real Estate, because we have a thing called Club 45. Revenue share versus profit share is probably the biggest thing that people have got to get their heads around. There are a number of brokerages out there that have profit share. But remember, profit is after all expenses are paid. Revenue share is on the income that comes in before expenses are paid, which means it is a bigger, fatter, giant pool to grab than the minuscule pool of profit. And everyone knows a lot of these brokerages like to run zero profit because they don't want to pay taxes. So there's no motivation for big brokerages to make a lot of profit because you're going to pay a lot of taxes. And so they take bonuses, and this guy gets a salary, and this person gets a bonus. And by the time you're done, there's not a lot of profit to share. However, with eXp, there is revenue. So right off the top, when we're talking about the commission, there is a piece of that commission that gets shared upward. Chris, why don't you just go through for a minute here on why you like the revenue share?
Transparency was a big thing. It's very clear on what it is because it's total commission. You got 10 grand commission. You're my front line, 3.5%. That's the napkin math. Versus the profit sharing model that some of the big franchises have. It's you got to send it over to NASA and you'll figure out what it is. And hey, if they've been shut down because of the pandemic and like they paid a lease, but they're like, oh, sorry, we didn't make anything. I actually know someone who recruited one of the top Keller agents in the Houston area. He's like, I don't get anything from them. I mean, last quarter they had to buy a new HVAC system for the building. There wasn't
exactly. Yep.
So let's talk about the stock for a second. I've said this now for a couple of months, that the single-family house is now the most important asset class in the world.
Yes.
And what's going on in the stock market with regards to companies that focus on single-family real estate.
Around housing,
Yeah, in and around housing, you're seeing those shares, the prices of shares going up substantially. One of those obviously is eXp because they're so tied to that market. Second thing is we already had our real estate crash. It just happened so fast you guys didn't see it.
Yeah.
Did you blink?
Yeah, you blinked, it was gone. You know what happened? It happened March 17th when they shut everything down to just before Easter.
Right.
That was it. That was your real estate crash. It's over. Now, doors open back up. We can go back to work, and everybody started buying like you would believe. Real estate crashes, at least for single family, is over. Commercial's a whole different deal. But that marketplace is now, everybody was waiting for the crash. You missed it. It was a month long. That's it. We got a question last night on our Q&A about forbearance. And I went ahead and pulled up the forbearance rules. You can do 180 days plus another 180-day extension. That's 360 days. It's a year. Plus whatever your foreclosure process is, assuming it gets to that. You guys think there's going to be all these forbearances, there's going to be all these foreclosures on the market? It'll be 2 to 3 years from now, and by then the houses will appreciate another 40%.
Yeah, but you have to, we're getting off track. The forbearance part of it at the end, the critical thing is how is that bank resetting? Are they doing a refi and starting the clock over? Are they just extending out another year on your thing, or are they asking for a lump sum at the end of the 180 days?
Here's the handful of folks that I know that are going through the forbearance process. They're using it as a means to refi.
Yeah.
So they're going to them and saying, they said, look, keep paying your mortgage. You're approved for a forbearance, and we'll see if we can get you a refinance at a lower rate or different terms.
Nice.
So all these forbearances you're seeing right now, they're not people who can't really afford their mortgages. They're just using it as a means to get a
Better rate.
fee-free refi.
Nice.
A better rate, or they're changing the terms, right? A 15 or a 30 or 30, 15 at a better rate. That's really what's going on.
Nice.
So everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I'm like, I hate to tell you, the crash got canceled. So we've got another 10-year run.
Sure.
Easily.
I put an investment deal on MLS. Guess how many calls I got on it?
Oh, I can't imagine.
200 plus. I did the calculations.
Wow.
Over 200. How many
Jeez.
texts? And I think it was 80 texts. How many offers? 22.
How many of them were real offers, though? You can kind of tell at this point.
About 15.
About 15
No,
real
we
offers.
had the low off by the VAs that do like half
Yeah.
value, but it's about 15.
About 15 legit
Yeah.
offers.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Sold it over asking.
Of course, right? Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna go back to Bell now that we've got that all straightened out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Have a little
We got one.
conversation.
We got a hoteling one we're going to take care of.
Mm.
But anyway, how many options? How many opportunities are there to make a stock bonus with eXp? You want to review that real quick with us, Chris?
So first transaction every year, you get stock in the company, you cap, you get stock in the company, you hit icon status. Not only the cap that you paid in, they're going to give that back to you. So for those agents, they're essentially capless. And if you were to refer someone into the company, that agent on their first transaction, they will get stock, but you'll actually get a little bit more stock because they incentivize you not to just go out and just like try to bring people in, but help people get transaction. And this is the argument that I tell people. It's like 5, 10, 20 years. Like if you're serious about about real estate, you want to build a career as an agent, as a team leader or broker owner, like, well, not the broker. This is mainly for the agent and the team leaders. Like at the end of your term, whenever you want to wind things down, how much are you going to sell your business for?
Mm.
And there's no market for that. It's nothing. But through eXp's model, you're accumulating stock that has value. Who knows if stock goes up or down, sideways or whatever, but my average share is $8-something. It's trading roughly around 19, 20 or so now. That's something that at my little brokerage, I can run all those transactions through, flat fee. At the end of 20, 30 years or whatever in this business, I have nothing to sell from that standpoint.
We were on a Zoom with Brant for folks a week ago, and I said, "Hey, Brant, I don't want to tell everyone your business, but I know you've got a lot of stocks." He's like, "I don't mind, Robert. I have $110,000 worth of shares right now." I'm like, "How long have you been with the business?" 2 years. How much of them did you buy? He's like, "I didn't buy any. Just came through the process, right?"
Yeah.
This icon status, getting all these people their first deal, and then 5% of the commission going back. Guys racked up 110. The guy's going to be probably $1 million worth of stocks at the end of 5 years. That's pretty fantastic, right?
Not bad.
And he will self-admit that he's not an agent.
Right.
He's a licensed agent, but he doesn't even know how to do an MLS listing. He's got a team. He's got a very good support structure, but that just shows for agents out there that are really crushing it. There's a team that they made a post locally. They have like 100,000 shares within 18 months.
That's exciting.
That's cool.
Nuts.
That's exciting. And again, for us, so we have the revenue share, the stocks, which are fantastic, and then the fact that the split is really, really fair. And then again, I think icon status is really achievable. Right, so you've got to hit your cap, which is whatever. You got to sell just under $3 million worth of business. So that's 10 deals. The average house is $300,000, and you've got to do 20 more transactions on top of that. So you've got to do 30. So you're still less than 3 a month, right? And then you have got to qualify in the eyes of eXp and the committee that hey, you are contributing to the company, to the community, and you get awarded icon status, and you get your You get your $16,000 back in, and you get a bunch of shares as well. It is absolutely achievable for anyone working with us and Mr. Tech. We're going to buy $100 million next year. It's not that difficult to go out and get the icon status. So we're looking to bring people over to Club 45. Did you guys hit icon?
Brent just hit it the second year. I have 4 more transactions, and then I'll lock it in. There are agents that hit this in your first year. It's my opinion, if you're serious and you're full-time, you should give yourself, if you don't hit it in 2 years, you might want to reevaluate your business strategy, your sales and marketing strategy, but it's absolutely doable. That being said, I mean, I don't know, top 3%, maybe 5% of the company will hit it.
So again, for us in eXp, we are recruiting. We want folks to join our group. We have a couple things. We have a couple assets that maybe other folks don't have. One of them is a really big community building, a real estate community building that we're working on. Once COVID subsides, we'll be able to leverage that building for lots and lots of gatherings and foot traffic, and we'll have people coming in off the street because it's going to say real estate center, and they're going to say, I want to sell my house, and wait, who's next on the lead list, right? We have a receptionist there, takes the lead, immediately converts on it, who's sitting in the office coming out to deal with this person. But let me go through a little bit more, maybe we'll talk about this on the next show, is the Club 45 model that we're doing here is really simply put, we don't have time to do all the real estate transactions we're going to need to do. And I know we've got good agents, and they're very happy to take, Audra will be very, very happy to take 3 times 6, $18 million in transactions. She'll be super happy. But at a certain point, there's just no more that she can handle, right? It starts getting into the negotiations, all this other stuff. And we want to bring in lots and lots of people to help us with these transactions. And so if you're interested in joining eXp, and you're certainly interested in coming on with Mr. Texas Real Estate, you're going to text 281-401-9008. Text the letters EXP to 281-401-9008. Come work with us in Club 45. We've got lots of deals that we need help with, and we're looking for good, experienced agents that are willing to work. And if you're new, that doesn't preclude you. We want to talk to you as well. So if you're a new agent thinking about getting into this, give us a shout. We're going to jump on board.